future generations could get this urge. Stay woke, youngin', and avenge these nerds.
Tuesday. Why do I keep on the bottom? You know what? I'm gonna stay on the bottom. I started on the bottom. Now I'm here.
It's a quick shift. Like, there you go.
It's okay.
Technical issues.
So good, man. We're here. We're live. We're here to talk with some awesome creators. We're here to talk about what if. You know, it's regular Tuesday night with the nerds.
Tuesday night with the guys, with the fellas.
I'm gonna apologize right now. I know you guys are gonna get on me because we talked about it yesterday. How I'm just probably
leave your hot take. Leave your hot
take. We're not doing that right now.
Leave your nonsense until you know. Listen, you're about to have your own swole collector movement and whatever, man. You can die in your hill. I've done it before.
Let's get through the announcements that we got coming up and all that because we got some fun stuff to announce to you guys. So it's your boy Sebastian,
it's your boy Law,
and your boy Tone from across the hall.
And it's Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 o'clock somewhere. So that means you could go get a drink. So we're excited to have you guys on and everything who are tuning in. Thank you guys. So some of the announcements. So again, please, everyone, please follow us on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. If we're doing stupid stuff, follow us. I mean, on our Instagram.
Don't mind this man's Instagram posts. Please.
Listen. If you're not following the Instagram, you mismouth the man.
I was gonna see if Toe was gonna just let it happen and just let him speak his piece.
No. So he can spin it. He can add all the nonsense and defend him. No.
Oh, come on.
Just keep going with the announcements. I'm just saying, don't mind Sebastian's Instagram nonsense. That's all I got to say about the matter.
It's fun.
I feel like I want to do a thing where we all start posting and let the audience figure out who's the one actually posting.
Listen, my post gives me away. Have you not seen my personal accounts? Come on. I just shared milk and magnesium video on TikTok. So there we go. Next on the list. Don't forget, if you want to guys keep on seeing this chaos that's going around, make sure you're tuning into the Medusa's Cascade podcast. Every Saturday, new episodes drop. It is your D&D podcast for everything chaotic, everything murder.
Comes up this Saturday.
We listen. This has been going on since when? February we started this, and we finally get to the big boss fight.
So we started playing February of last year. We released the podcast last September.
Yeah.
So this is a full year that you guys got us going on this adventure, and now we're at the big boss fight.
Big bad Strahd.
If you guys know us and know us as chaotic as we are, that fight is just as chaotic as we are. It is the culmination of us being chaotic.
It has intrigue, it has betrayal, it has Kyver. There we go.
That fight's a whole lot of drop marbles. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Next on the list, we got a special for you guys next Wednesday, the 29th, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're partnering up with MLA Entertainment. For you guys who don't know MLA Entertainment, they have a series called Project Infinity. We're actually going to be doing a table read live on the show for one of their episodes. And the nerds will get to also possibly play some of the characters in that table read. So we're kind of excited to do that with Keiko, the group of MLA Entertainment. Again, if you haven't seen Project Infinity, it's in the links below. But other than that, again, we want to thank you guys for coming on Tuesday night because we have two guests that are coming on to talk about an awesome Kickstarter, which we want to congratulate them that just hit their goal. I mean, we talk a lot of D&D stuff. This is a D&D inspired comic. It's also inspired by various different things in the comic book world, like Rob Liefeld art, Jack Kirby art. I mean, it's just beautifully done. So we'll get to see some of the pages on their Kickstarter page. And if you, after we're done speaking with them, the Kickstarter link is in the description. So please fund it. Get them the push goals, get them the cushion goals, get them all the goals, give it to them all because we want them to give it to extra people, international people and everything. We want to give it up for the one, the only Matt Summo and Pete Collins. What's up, guys? Welcome.
What's up?
To the show.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
How's it going?
So, guys, we want to welcome you to Nerds of the Round, bringing you guys in. Just awesome to have you guys on. We were stoked to learn about the Kickstarter, the Bardic Verses, and everything. But before we get into the Bardic Verse, how did this tag team form together? How did the tag team of Matt and Pete come together?
Who made the first move?
There you go.
It was a joint. It was a joint move. It was a joint move.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was
Ooh,
very,
we'll get to
very
that.
romantic. Very romantic.
I mean,
Nice.
you know, it happened at a Christmas party. Who brought a
Yep.
drink to who? Like, how, you know, you gotta tell the story. You know,
Give us those details.
and
You want to go?
go
Yeah.
ahead. Take it.
So we both have that. We both share the same day job. I started after Pete. Pete's been there kind of a while.
Too
And-
long of a while.
Yeah. But he's moved on. He works in a different building now. But he worked in the building that I started in, and I would see drawings around that building that he did, like a Batman here, a Green Lantern there, that he would just doodle and give away to our coworkers. And I saw that and I was like, this guy like knows his stuff. He can actually draw comic book characters. I'm like, who is he? Where is he? Does he still work here? What's his story? And then at the same time, like after I had started, Pete was hearing about me, like, oh, you should like find this guy Matt. He works at the other building. You know, he writes comic books. You guys would probably hit it off. And then you mentioned the Christmas party, but like, yeah. So at our Christmas
That's where it went
party,
down.
we met up and we were just talking. I was working on an anthology at the time called Kayfabe, a pro wrestling anthology. And I had asked Pete, I said, hey, man, do you have any interest in doing a pinup? Like, I'm sure they would love to have you. And he did. And the rest, as they say, is history. Like, we started, you know, plotting this book. We were working on another book, and it's just been crazy. So
I'm already looking at it. Me and Matt are gonna be friends too because they're wrestling, and me and Pete with the D&D. That's it. We got you guys.
So with this like like you guys have met now, you guys have done the exchange. The inception came from who for the idea for the book?
So it kind of came up gradually, man. So like it was around the time that The Witcher was out, and you know, Matt and I were watching that. You know, we were chatting back and forth about it, and you know, he's like, you know, the Bard character is interesting, and you know, he's got like such a small part in it. And then I went on, you know, a role about how, you know, in Dungeons and Dragons, there are bards as a class, and they're totally underutilized. Nobody, back when I first started, I started on 2nd edition. Nobody wanted to play the bard, right? Like most people are gearing themselves up to be the fighter guy or the wizard or the kick-ass rogue. Nobody's like, yes, bards for me, right? They're not the exciting class typically, and so then we kind of got just this big mega conversation rolling, and it was like, we should do something with that. We should make a comic where the bard is the main focus.
And I like that the bard's name is Martleen Swordhand, and it's telling his tale. But also, too, I mean, what was the decision of making him a member of a whole warrior family and having to deal with that? What was some of the relationships people can expect from him?
I mean, that was just to sort of show like how popular like barbarian classes and warrior classes are, and how much like it's so bad for Martillon that like people will see him and go, hey, like you're the son of Sea-Roar, is his father's name, Sea-Roar Swordhand, like, and you're not a warrior. You're like, you've never swung a sword before. Like, who are you?
The black sheep.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's a black sheep story. And again, like, you know, we actually follow him. The point of the book is like, we're following him on different adventures that he went on. So the framing device for the book is he's playing a set list in a tavern, like, or, you know, he's telling these stories, he's singing these songs about the adventures that he's gone on, and we're following him through these adventures where he's kind of like NPC, right? Like, he doesn't do all the cool stuff. He's with people that are doing all the cool stuff. They're punching people, you know, they're swinging swords, they're doing all the fun stuff, and he has to like creatively get himself out of these jams. But each of the stories that he tells, I basically pictured it like, if he's playing music, he's going to play different styles of music, right? So how do we show that in illustration? We show that by using different art styles. So that's where we get the tributes to Jack Kirby, to Rob Liefeld, etc. and we find out that these are separate adventures and can be read separately, but they all kind of connect. So we're finding out that there's a reason why he's in that bar. There's a reason why he's playing there. And at the end of the story, when we've gone through all of his adventures, we find out that he's there for a reason, and what that reason is, and how we wrap up the book takes place after that.
Yep.
So I love, like, with the Bardic verse, again, I want to bring up the page and all that. And then I love with the your website, what you guys did with the character. But I want to show the page, the Kickstarter page, where people can see what's inside this book. And Pete, you are one of the artists on the book, right?
Oh, I'm the artist on
there. You go.
So I did all of it, every style. That's me,
bro. How was it working with those different styles?
Complex at times, for sure. I didn't approach it the right way. I think where originally I was bouncing back and forth between my style and, trying to pay homage to different other artists. That got very complicated, so much so that actually those pages right there in the preview, those were entirely redone from what they originally were. So yeah, we got about 2/3 of the way through the book, and I said I got to go back because my style changed. But yeah, there's the glamour shot. There's a little collage. We've got some Kirby, some Disney, some Oatly, some Bill Watterson even in there. It's been a blast.
Yeah, no, you definitely see like the effort and the love of all the influences throughout. It's really just a testament to you. We're just so used to seeing anthologies, like, it's different artists, but it's really just one person and just focusing their work through a specific lens to just kind of tell the story. So, kudos, hats off to you and your team, man. That's awesome.
And I know that wasn't easy for you to do that because, again, like you said, you were the one artist. I met someone who was working on an anthology, and they had a bunch of different artists. Like, looking at it, you wouldn't expect that you were the only artist doing this. And it's like, again, you said you got a little bit of Disney in there, you got a little bit of Kirby in there. It's just the pages are, guys, if you're not pretty much funding this Kickstarter now just by the pages alone and by the story or the fact of a bard, then you're dead at the waist right now. Come on, you guys got to fund this. So how fun was it to put this guy through the adventures? What were some of the things, and are there parts of the story that you guys had to put on the chopping block floor that you couldn't have in the book or saving for later?
So let me start at the beginning. How fun was it? It's a lot of fun. I mean, as you saw, the book opens with the bard getting punched in the face.
Seems appropriate.
Number one, it's hilarious. 2, it's super appropriate. 3, it's a throwback to like those old 90s comics that would always start with like a big fat splash page. So I thought it was really cool to do that.
Let me tell you how I got here.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is my life. My life is I'm getting punched in the face wherever I go. And as far as things that we cut, I want to say we used most of the ideas that we had. I think we wanted to keep the book like at a reasonable length for cost purposes. But I will say that we have been plotting for a volume 2. Mm-hmm. There's definitely some ideas happening for that. Obviously we'll see how the rest of the campaign goes. As you guys said, like, we are funded, which is very cool. But we want to ensure funding by we want to ensure funding by, we're talking about right now, we're actually having ongoing conversations about what stretch goals would look like. And we're thinking, this is kind of, I think, the first time we're saying this publicly. We're thinking that the stretch goal that we're going to do is going to be upgrading it to a hardcover. Because again,
nice.
it's all
nice.
It's all about the book. Like, this whole thing is about the book. Pete and I are not taking a page rate for this. All of the money is going towards lettering and just printing of the book. So I wanted that book to look as good as possible. And I think hardcover, like a stretch goal from softcover to hardcover, is pretty reasonable. So we'll see what that looks like. We're still kind of doing the math on that, but fingers crossed if everything goes well.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
And if you guys decide to do a volume 2, would it be also sort of an anthology style, or now it would kind of go down the route of continuing the story of how the first volume ends?
So yeah, I think it'll be both. It's going to be
Okay.
the same kind of framing where he's telling the stories, because I think that works really well. I do think that it's gonna stick. If I could tip my hand a little bit, it's gonna stick to one genre.
Okay.
And it's gonna be it'll probably be like more tributes to horror books. So like Junji Ito, maybe a little Walking Dead.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so I mean it'll make sense when you read the book, but yes, I think that's kind of what we're gonna go for volume 2.
Nice.
I love
Nice.
So I'm just going to showcase some of the rewards people can get here, expecting to get with the Kickstarter. So you got your $20 right here. It's also coins to your bard. I love it.
Yep.
Well done.
Yes, that earworm took the world by storm.
Did it ever?
Oh,
I
man.
still every now and then I still sing it to myself.
Yeah, I am. Me too.
So I like on your site too. It was played around on your site. So Pete, you are a Bardic fighter Goliath, and Matt, you are a Gerodic Bard Furblog, which is the classes that were chosen for you guys. Again, how did you guys get chosen for your classes? Please, we have to know this story.
So we have a contributor named Nick who's actually going to be doing a pinup in the book with us as well. Nick's been part of like our chats at times, and he's helped us with the website. He's got a great mind for like marketing stuff. And he wanted to do that, and so we gave him full reign of the website, and like he's like, hey, I'm done. We looked at it, and there's like all these different like stats, like our classes and everything. He just kind of assigned it to us, honestly. But
I love that
hilarious.
you're all at an adventure party. You're all level 10. No one's like a crazy level 20. It's like
yeah.
No, but it's
a good sweet spot.
But it works too. Like, I mean, the barbarian fighter bard, it just kind of reminds me, like, you think of Goliaths like not having a singer, so it makes sense. Like, your main character is coming from such a warrior family, and one of your PCs that represent your team is a Goliath bard, which I think is pretty fun.
We're gonna end up putting that game together for you guys. You guys are gonna play your characters. We're gonna create an all bard campaign just for you guys.
Nice.
Play your characters. Nice little one shot.
Infamous oops all bards.
So our book is 66 pages of sequential art, and then we've got a good number of pages of back matter, and some of the stuff that's actually going to be included in there is we're having character sheets made out for some of the main characters throughout the story. So
very cool.
So if anybody wants to introduce an NPC, you can use the stats. If somebody's jumping in for a night, hand them the character sheets play.
That's beautiful.
That's cool.
Dope.
Yeah.
Now, you guys also work with Matt Kreutzer on this. He is actually the letterer for that. So what was that relationship with Matt? How was that, working? Because Matt has some credits with Image, Dark Horse. So you got a great guy who's actually helping with letters. Because I remember it was like Buddy Scalera is one of the people that said like a great letterer can make bad art look good. A bad letterer can make great art look bad. So how was that relationship? Who approached who, with building that with Matt?
Yes. So number one, that's 110% correct about lettering. Like, bad lettering will kill a book no matter how good it is. I've worked with Matt in the past on a couple of different things. Again, that anthology Kayfabe that I mentioned, I worked on 2 volumes of that with Matt. We did another anthology called Deadbeats that was nominated for a Ringo last year. He was my letterer there. So I just worked with Matt over the years, and I thought he was the best person to bring onto the project because he puts a lot of thought into the lettering that he does, and you'll see that in the book. We kind of play with letter, like he gets to kind of do what Pete does. His lettering has to match the art style. So like in one of the first stories is called "A Maiden to Smite For," which is kind of a riff on a Dame to Kill For, a Sin City story, right? So he gets to kind of play with that. He does a very like Frank Miller lettering style in that, and we continue that through the book. So again, he was just the the perfect choice to bring onto the book, because he adds his own character to the lettering.
I like that. Again, this is everybody who is listening to this episode on demand, live again, or on the podcast for the audio. Please go to the description, add more to these guys' Kickstarter, get it fully funded, so that this way,
Get it
yeah, they already passed that. We want
Right.
to
We got stretch
we got to get
goals.
them double funded to stretch goals
There you
and
go.
all that. So come on, we
Hell
need
yeah.
we need
Please.
more. We need more books on Bards, more books on Bards, because I mean, I know, Pete, you already know the bad names Bards sometimes get in some
Oh, yeah.
D&D campaigns.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Tells so many stories right now. He's like, yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
I've seen some stuff, guys. I've seen some stuff. It ain't pretty. It ain't pretty.
So give us the pitch now. Give everyone the pitch, your pitch on the book and everything, because we want to get people now to jump over to the Kickstarter. So come on, give us the pitch on the Bardic Verse. Let's go.
Yep. So the Bardic Verses, again, it's about Martin Swordhand, who is the son of a famous warrior from a long line of famous warriors, and he's trying to outrun that sort of shadow of family legacy by, he picked up a lute instead of a sword, and we get to see his adventures. We get to watch him grow as a person and deal with situations that, bards wouldn't normally thrive in, but we get to see him kind of make choices and do things and encounter certain situations that sort of change him as a person. And then we kind of end him in a way different place than where he started. And again, different art styles representing the different types of music. Pete really crushes it there. But it's just fun. I to be honest, this feels cliche to say, but there's nothing like this book out there right now. It's a lot of fun. Again, it's for people that are fans of comics, people that are fans of D&D and fantasy sword sorcery books. But yeah, just for and I would say it's kind of all ages. There's one curse word in there, and it's shit. I don't know if we can curse. I just curse. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. We
can.
tell people we give a month, but go ahead. The kids are in bed. If the kids are watching this, shame on the parents.
So spoiler: the one curse in the book is shit. But yeah, I mean, it's just fun. We had a lot of fun making it. I really hope that translated to the pages. I think it did. And it's just, again, there's nothing like it out there for sure.
Yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on this. And also, what up, George from Catch the Craze? There he goes. He knows us from the book.
Love that dude.
George is awesome. We all love George. George gets a big heart, smiley face. Love him.
Good dude.
Again,
Good
if you
dude.
guys are not
Came at
checking
the
out
right time too.
Oh yeah, because now we're jumping
Always.
into
Always. He always comes to the right time.
this is George's favorite segment.
That's the only reason I'm here.
Right here. This is why he's here. All right. Boom. So we are talking season 1, episode 6 of What If Killmonger rescued Tony Stark. I did not expect to say that Tony Stark has died legit 3 times in an actual continuity. I really didn't. I know it's a gag that we do, but Tony Stark has died multiple times in What If. Also, questionably, my man died by getting shanked in the shoulder. Me and my son were like, this doesn't make any sense.
Really?
Anyway, we're here. Killmonger made his plan 10 years earlier, which means it effectively worked. So let's get to it. I love this episode. Law loved this episode. Seabass hated this episode. Boo this man. Boo this man.
Boo. All right. So, Pete, Matt, welcome to the Madhouse right now with this. So, what were your guys' thoughts on the episode? Please give us your feedback. Who wants to go first? Who wants to? I'm gonna actually. You know what? We'll toss a coin to Pete. Pete goes first.
All right. I don't know if you guys have ever seen. There's an episode of The Big Bang Theory where they're arguing how Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark does not move the story, because ultimately the Nazis still get the Ark, the Nazis still open the Ark, and it melts their faces off. So Indiana Jones actually does not have any bearing on the story in the movie at all, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of felt that this entire episode of What If was similar, because Killmonger had a plan, right? He had a plan. his plan really didn't deviate from what went down in the Marvel universe, except that he was successful and there was, Tony Stark was there. Like it didn't do it for me. It just didn't. Like I felt that for all the other characters that were there, it didn't matter. And I'm sorry that episode ended in the worst possible way ever. It's you've got Shuri and Pepper, and they meet up and they're like, "Hey, we've got some stuff," and then credits. Like what? Like I honestly thought I had another 15 minutes of that episode. And
I think What If has been, the endings of What If have not been my favorite because they've been really like, I crave more. Like I love the show, and I think the endings, like I think the Doctor Strange one was the best ending because it ended so bleakly. And I think the zombies one ended like, oh crap, here comes zombie Thanos. But a lot of them just end. And you're like, how are we getting cameos of characters at the last minute? And then what
I feel is that the whole series would benefit if it went the route that the Invincible show did. Give them a full hour, just a full hour to just get a whole story out there. The zombies one, I liked it, except it was rushed. Like there wasn't enough time to emotionally care about the things that happened in it. When you see Hope as a giant fall down, like they built up to you caring that she just sacrificed herself, but there wasn't enough time to mourn. And similarly in this, it's like Killmonger saves Tony, and there's like instant friendship, instant brotherhood between the two, and it kind of fast forwards like throughout that. Like it doesn't focus on it. So it's like how I didn't have an easy time, particularly, enjoying that. Like I wanted to see like that relationship. Like, okay, it's interesting. Killmonger saved Tony. That whole thing with him, building an arc reactor in a cave never really happened. What's that friendship like? What's their camaraderie? And it kind of fast forwards through it, and that's kind of a letdown. I think it's a disservice to the show as a whole to keep it at that 30-ish minute mark and just not extend it.
You know what? You hit it on the nose for me, because I think that's why I don't like the episode that much, because I go, it's not a bad episode, but it's not great. And I feel like, it was the pace, because I keep telling Law, like for me, I felt like it was the placement, but I think it was more of that because I wanted to see more of that relationship between him and Tony. I understand it's Killmonger's story, and that's what we're seeing. And I like the Raiders of the Lost Ark analogy, because that's, again, that hit it. It was like, it's not a bad episode, but it's not great. It just leaves you wanting. And if they were able to do it, they probably could have gave us more of those nuggets. But Matt, we're now going to tag you in. It is now the hot tag. When they come in, ready to knock everyone out. We got
a spicy meatball boiling right now, man.
For real. No pressure.
Way to go, Pete.
That's what I do.
I feel the same way. Like, I think this, like, it's very cool. I think Killmonger's a great character. Like, he's probably the most interesting villain, I think I would say, out of all of them. I think it's good. Like these. Here's my problem with it. These episodes are fine, and that's not what I come to expect from Marvel. Like I come to expect like I need to see this multiple times. I've never rewatched an episode of What If yet. Like I end like the end. I'm just like, okay, like where's the next one? Like, and it's because of that reason. There's no, like, it's so rushed. They don't give you chances to really absorb. Like that Doctor Strange episode is the perfect example. Like I felt nothing. Like I watched that whole episode. I was like, yeah, that's fun. Like that's cool. Like, it's cool that he was a villain, but like I felt like I should be affected more by like what was going on, like him having to watch Christine die like over and over and over again. Like I felt nothing. I was just like, yeah, like it feels like they're definitely obviously setting up something bigger with some of these characters. But it just like, I don't know. It's exactly like it's too short. It's not giving those stories a chance to breathe, which means like it just kind of feels hollow to me. Like it's like cool to watch and it's fun to see those characters and hear their voices and stuff, but I don't know. It's just missing. It's missing that like punch. Like it's just missing something that like it's not like I'll still I wake up like super early on Wednesdays just to watch it, but it's like I don't know. Again, like I don't want to rewatch it. I watch it once and I'm just like, okay, like it needs something. Like they definitely need to let it breathe a little bit to give it that emotional depth, I guess.
Yeah. I need more Buddy Thanos. That's what I need. Buddy Thanos. We're gonna make that a thing. That's it. It's gonna be a shirt. It's gonna be a character. Buddy Thanos is gonna be a thing. Tola, I know you guys love the episode. Please give us the hot takes on that episode too. We're tagging you in. This is the Hardy Boys versus the Brood. Let's go.
All right, it's all good. So like real talk, I do agree that the show does suffer from the length time. I think that the MCU shows or any of really the Disney Plus shows work with their short length as much as it annoys me because they have a continuous story, so they can just kind of build up on each other. Pete, like you said, the Invincible method of just kind of doing the straight 45 to an hour would definitely make these shows breathe. So like I definitely am with you, and I hope maybe season 2 they kind of see that because we're not getting any sort of continuity. But for the episode itself, I thoroughly enjoyed it because we got to see how strategically minded Killmonger is, and it played out in a more successful way because he did his plan, I would say give or take 8 to 10 years earlier, and played Tony like a fucking fiddle. Because Tony at that point wasn't the broken person that he was in the cave. He was still billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. Like, so he was able, like they did the point to get him to trust him. He saved his life. Cool, you now owe me one. Let me get you in security. Then he shows up in the fact that his COO was trying to kill him and just builds trust. Then it's like, oh, you're building a robot. So like he knew what points to hit to get Tony to give him the keys to the castle. And I think we were able to, and we showcase that because we don't really get much of that. We don't get much of the vices of Tony Stark after I would say Iron Man 2. We don't really get them and see them played. He grows as a human being throughout the entire MCU. So we get to see that portion of him and what the negative impact of what it is plays out. And how eventually in 10 years, it doesn't really matter what Killmonger does. Thanos is going to come. He's going to wipe out half of the universe. Doesn't matter because he's not there to stop it. And then I liked that we saw a different take of what Killmonger did to get Wakanda on his side. Because you have, he kills Black Panther. T'Chaka is there, which I think is a huge part because T'Chaka was able to he got the trust from T'Chaka, which let him do what he did. Versus in the Black Panther movie, T'Chaka's not there, and it's T'Challa, and T'Challa's kind of coming into himself as a king and as a warrior, and just kind of having the society behind him. Where T'Chaka was like, it's my law. Like you can come in, your blood, your family. I see my brother's eyes in you. I'm gonna give you the keys. And so that's what made me really enjoy the episode. We saw the plan play out perfectly. It made sense how his plan worked and why it worked. And we got to see a side of Tony that we just don't see because we don't really mess around with that time before Afghanistan. So,
you know, I agree. I agree with all of the points that you made. I do think that, you know, it was awesome to see his strategic mindedness, you know, because it's like, they show that in the movie, but to see it at a more complex level here was great. I did like that the dialogue between him and T'Chaka. Like I thought that was fantastic, right? And to see how that played out differently versus how it did with T'Challa there. Like I thought that was fantastic. I think there was a couple of things though, like throughout. Because they were trying to speed things along, like, you know, when he sees that Tony's building a robot, he's like, oh yeah, I got this plan from when I was in MIT, and it's like, Killmonger can design robots now. Like,
I think that was more for the love of Michael B. Jordan's love for anime.
and that
I think that was always implied in his backstory, though.
Was it? Because I don't recall that being anything before this.
If not in Black Panther, they said somebody.
Like he went to MIT. The MIT thing, the Annapolis and the MIT thing.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't know if they talk, and I know I don't remember if they talk about his dissertation.
Robotics, right? I don't think it was necessarily robotics, but you know, I wouldn't put it past him to have at least a little bit of knowledge of everything.
Yeah.
Sure. It just struck me as weird though, because it's like, you know, from what we have seen about him, like, yes, he's strategic. Yes, he's a brutal combatant, hand
But
to
then you're also
hand,
seeing
shooting
like
all
the
that.
long game in this too, because if he's
Yeah.
planning this far ahead, I feel like he's got that like fortitude and like just that stubbornness to be like, I'm gonna get a doctorate in robotics just to impress Tony Stark. Like literally, it has nothing to do
Yeah.
with anything else, but like I'm doing this as a means to an end.
Maybe that's what they
He can
applied.
care
because-
less, two shits about having a doctorate in robotics. But if it gets him close to Tony Stark, cool.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like if that's the route that they were trying to push, again, a little more time and just a hair more focus on that to
Absolutely.
really
I'm
land that would
all you guys.
I think what they would have helped with that is probably if they added a montage to show how he went through his planning phase. Like, oh, I'm gonna learn this to get into Tony Stark's good graces. I'm gonna learn about his enemies. I'm gonna learn about that. Like, if you probably had this montage, maybe that would have helped the episode a little more of explaining that phase.
Just seeing him like watch Tony Stark, and like that's the reason why he picked MIT.
Hashtag
like,
Tony Stark stalker.
You know, like that's it. Like MIT is the way you go to get to Tony Stark because he does all that stuff because he, has to as a rich alumni. And like, and he graduated and he does the war stuff. And so he's got that connection to Rhodey and all the other, let the watcher tell us. I mean, that's what he's there for.
He's doing nothing but watching. He's like the ultimate peeping Tom.
He's the lurker, man. He's the ultimate lurker. He's just there.
So, I want to ask you guys though, because we had something cool that was in this episode too, was the we didn't get to see it in the Black Panther movie, but we got to see it in this episode where T'Challa's mother, the Black Panther's mother, was actually fighting on the battlefield. How did it feel to see that the general, that's what how I was calling it, my general is out there? How did it feel to see that we actually got to see the mother actually fight on the battlefield? Matt, we will tag you in with this one.
Yeah, man, all that stuff was cool. I welcome any chance to like revisit Wakanda. I think again, like it's super interesting. That whole dynamic is cool. It was awesome to see the mother on the battlefield. I want more of that. Like I'm actually like really looking forward to Black Panther 2. I've been hearing some stuff that they're talking about for that. That's going to be really super interesting if it's legit. But yeah, they're really good at that stuff, right? Like showing you things you didn't think you wanted to see. But again, like to everyone's point before, like, they should have shown us, him planning more, things like that. That just all goes down to like they need to blow these episodes out. Like they need to like give them more time to tell these stories, because it just feels like they're rushing through. Which I get it. Like 30 minutes is not a lot of time, but
it's not.
They need more. That's the only thing I'll say. I mean, I think everyone would agree.
Love it too, cuz.
Marvel, like, please, like, keep giving us more. Like, no one's gonna say no. Like, I'm sure Disney's not gonna tell you no. You can't make these episodes an hour long. Like, just do it. Like, it just benefits the story so much more.
Cheyenne says she fangirl when Mama Panther got into battle. What's up, Cheyenne? Lots of love to you, Cheyenne, and everything. Pete, we're tagging you in now. How did it feel to see T'Challa's Mama Panther get in there? We're gonna call her Mama Panther now.
I felt like a little disconnected from like the story itself, because I kind of imagined like Angela Bassett did the voice of her character in this, right? And I kind of like paused myself and wondered, like, did she record that before or after, Chadwick passed away?
The fourth T'Challa,
I think it was before. This was all before.
Yeah.
And it's like, because it's such an emotional moment, and you have to stop, and it's like it's almost therapeutic to watch, right? Like here's a mother that's mourning the death of her son in this show, and I'm sure to some level, that she, had to go through some similar aspect of mourning a young coworker that you probably shared some level of admiration with. So that I thought was very fitting. I like that scene. I did. Plus, it was just badass, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, from purely from the fan point and removing the emotional spectrum, it was badass. That whole scene was awesome.
Yeah, really getting to see the Dora Milaje just kicking robot ass, just
Yeah.
not really worrying about if you're disfiguring things. It's just kind of them going all out. And what could have been if we did a Black Panther earlier, just having Angela Bassett just kick ass.
Yeah,
I would have loved it. But Cheyenne agrees too that the episodes they're feeling a little rushed. And I mean I agree that this is the episode I think that showcased that there is a little bit of a rush feeling for these episodes, and they should have really pushed these episodes to an hour, because it is tough to pack years of what the MCU did into 30 minutes for a character arc. I know that at the end they're probably going to have them all get together for a big bad and everything, and here he goes. I think that's been the positive side of what is Chadwick T'Challa getting more love. I think that's the positive too, because there's been that emotional connection, because these are really Chadwick Boseman's last moments that we're actually getting to hear his last piece of work. Which again, thanks for bringing that up, Pete. Tony, go ahead, Pete.
I'm happy it's as heavily involved, with him as it is. I think when they first kind of released information about the show before it came out, it was. I personally was just under the impression that he was going to be playing like the Star-Lord version of T'Challa, and that would be like an episode. And since we've seen him in a few episodes, he was in the zombie one, he was in this one. So that has been a very nice surprise with the show.
Yep. And we should be getting him again, because they should be doing the Star-Lord T'Challa team up with Captain Carter that they with the Avengers circle shot that we've seen in the trailer.
Yeah,
so we'll see how that goes.
That's what I'm waiting for, is that circle shot.
That's going to be the finale. I would have to.
Because we still haven't seen Gamora with the helicopter sword and Thanos' armor, which I'm really excited for.
Yeah,
and to see the Vision Ultron, where it looks like he has the Infinity Stones on his chest. I'm really hoping for that one to be really good.
Yep.
Yeah,
keeping my fingers crossed. So and I'm still laughing that we had the one episode with all the Avengers die. So that was a funny one, and it's like hashtag blame Hank Pym. Yes, and more Captain Carter. But Tone Law, how did you feel about seeing Mama Panther on the field?
It was awesome to see, because like it was one of those things. It took place 10 years before, if not longer, before we actually got to see her. So different circumstances of like seeing this character, where originally you're just seeing a mom, you're just seeing a queen who lost her husband and what have you, but it's almost like that that motherly instinct of like, I'm going to fight for my son, like, you know what I mean, like, and I think that was awesome. Like seeing her and like general, like, oh, just chills. It was so dope. All of the fight scenes in Wakanda, like the entire Dora Milaje just kicking ass and everyone taking names, it was incredible. I had such a good time watching that fight. And then to Pete's point, like I got that emotional weight, like, but I like didn't sit with it, and I sat with it now. Like after you mentioned it, I was like, oh man, there's so much with you're right. Like they might not have known, but I wish like Chadwick knew. So he like poured himself into all this. It was like, yeah, I'll do as many, T'Challa, Black Panther roles as you want me to do. Like, go for it, Yeah. So that was pretty dope.
Yeah.
I told you want to give your hot take on that one, or
no. I mean, I'm kind of jiving with what everyone's saying. I mean, there isn't much else to add aside from like it is an emotional impact, and I'm just happy we got these moments of Chadwick. Like to Pete's point, I also thought we were just getting Star-Lord T'Challa, which is great. That's more T'Challa for everybody. Right. But just to see him in like full Wakandan accent, Black Panther, even if his dialogue was cut short because he was killed, it was still nice to have it. And hopefully, and I'm excited to see what he does with Star-Lord T'Challa in the last bit of the season.
Yeah.
Well, I got a question for everybody though, because we've all seen Black Panther. First of all, for those joining us, this is Matt and Pete. They put together the comic anthology called the Bardic Verse. They are fully funded, but go to the link to the Kickstarter link after this episode to give them more money to get your hands on the Bardic Verse, because it is a dope book. Go back and rewatch this episode, or wait for the plug at the end, because they're going to go right back over their book and everything, because again, we're having fun with these guys. We've talked about the Bardic Verse and everything, and we're thanking them to come on the show. But I do have a question for you guys, because
we know in the movie that Black Panther's father, I'm gonna butcher the name.
T'Chaka.
T'Chaka. I'm known for butchering names. Hashtag Sebastian butchers everything. And yes, Iron Man keeps dying.
Yo, that was literally Toad's first thing. He was like, "Yo, I've never had to say it Tony Stark died so many times."
I know it holds no weight anymore, man.
It doesn't. But let me ask you guys this: is that so? We know that T'Chaka killed his brother, and in this, like, we know now that Killmonger is getting in there with everyone over there in Wakanda. Do you think that if we got like a second episode or continuation of the story, would Killmonger try to take out the king of Wakanda for revenge for his father? I want to see who wants to take that hot take.
I'll take it. Yes.
Go ahead, Toad.
Yeah, 100%. And like it would be for both revenge for his father and to kick off Wakandans attacking imperialists.
Yeah.
To do his whole other bit of freeing his brothers and sisters throughout the world. Like it would do it to, he would set it up where T'Chaka's killed by, I mean, with the U.S. government, because that's kind of what we're doing now. They're in the brink of war, and then that's how you start the war between the Wakandans, who will just kick ass because they have much better technology, and America and probably potentially some other parts of the world. Now I think it may fall through because you've got Shuri, and Shuri's smart as hell, and she's got Stark Industries behind her. So I think it would be something to see, but that would definitely be revenge and also moving his plan, because his thing is to move that plan forward.
All right.
Now I could see. I'll play devil's advocate here. Somebody's got to. First off, I agree. I totally agree. Right. I totally agree. But I think there could be an awesome spin on that. Where he has the plan. It's been this has been a plan for years for him. He killed Tony Stark and put the U.S. at war with Wakanda and all this crazy stuff. And then just before he decides that he's not going to, he's going to kill T'Chaka, he has a change of heart, because over this time, this guy has become something of a father to him as he's been in this Black Panther-like role. And like, you could kind of tell the story there. And then, T'Chaka ends up dying because of some outside influence. Whether it's a stray bullet from an American soldier or a robot from the U.S. Army takes him out, and then he ends up losing a father a second time. And I think that could be a very powerful twist on it. But yeah, I'm sure that won't go that route.
I like that.
That's a good route, though. That's a good.
I like
route.
it.
I'm here for
It's a
it.
good route for Killmonger.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I still think he's going to try to take on T'Chaka.
He's too full of bloodlust.
Yeah. Right. Like he's at that point where, he's manipulated his way that far that he's like in the thick of it. He's now the new Black Panther, and even going to the other side and seeing T'Challa, he's like, yo, is it worth it, cousin? Like, was it worth? Like, he's like, no matter what, either on this life, in this plane, or the next, like, you're gonna get your just desserts. You know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. Like, I don't fucking care. And like, I don't think that he's gonna let his bloodlust go. I don't think he's going to just be like, I made it, now I'm done. Yeah. It goes so much further than that. Like, and also I think he's as smart as you are, that line between genius and insanity is a very thin one. And I think that, like, as smart and as brilliant as he is, if he wanted to, he would probably keep going to where he'll kill T'Chaka, he'll, overthrow the entire government, get like a bunch of people on his side, get rid of his aunt, get rid of Shuri, try to get rid of as many people as he can, so he could just have absolute control. No one can stand in his way, right?
Yeah.
And then,
man, I want your hot take on it. Like, what do you think would happen?
I mean, I agree that he's just rage, right? Like, he's raging. Like, he's cold-blooded. He doesn't, like, the only thing he cares about is himself. But I do, so while I agree, I do have a question for you guys.
Give it to us.
Who or what? So we're getting Black Panther 2. This is not a secret. Everybody knows. Like, who steps in to fill that role?
That's a tough role to fill.
Apparently, as of what we heard, it was Shuri. That was what everyone thought there. Now I don't know what's going on with Letitia Wright and everything that's happening, but before all of that, I was under the impression it was going to be Shuri because she's done it before.
Yeah, see, I mean that makes sense to me, but I feel like, again, like you said, like that's a hard role to fill. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I would love to see that they bring, like, could they? I guess my question is, like, could they? Because first of all, as you guys know, unless you see a body, no one's dead, right? So, is Killmonger really dead? Can they bring him back?
They said they've been.
Is he redeemable?
They said they've been wanting to bring him back because Michael B. Jordan did such a great job with the character. Because, like, again, he's the you guys said it. He's the villain that a lot of people loved in the MCU. He just had a passionate story. It was like, you know, and it wasn't a story of like your cartoon cutting villain. He was just someone who just had a crappy upbringing, and it was like, yeah, my dad was killed. I was left here by my people. So you understood the rage that he went through. He was like, yeah, y'all left me there while you guys are over here enjoying the fruits of labor and all that of the culture, and you're not bringing us. And I wanted to pose this question to you guys too, like just seeing him talk Killmonger in this episode to T'Chaka, asking him, like, you know, was it worth it? I feel like if we can get like a moment like that where it's like he comes to a realization, like, you know what, maybe I have to scale this back and do it in a more positive way, where to honor the fallen Black Panther's memory and be that hero that he can't be here to be, and be that symbol. I would love to see that. Like, it's a coming, like we actually got that with Loki. If you guys have seen that, it's kind of like Loki's character has been played so many ways that's full circle, where he wasn't really the trickster anymore. He's like, yo, I gotta, and he's not one of the other villains that a lot of people love in the MCU. And I feel like we can kind of do that with the Killmonger character.
But I also think that Loki as a character and Killmonger as a character, even Thanos to that degree, all are villains for completely different reasons.
Yeah. Like Thanos, a lot of people love Thanos too.
Thanos doesn't consider himself a villain. He thinks of himself as a necessary, like,
as a savior.
A savior.
Which
whereas
we saw.
Loki is a victim of like just needing love and attention. Like all the stuff that we got from the Loki series, where it's like he was just trying to outgrow, you know, the shadows that were cast on him, essentially. Was he trying to be really extreme and very, elaborate with it? Yes, he's a trickster god. Like, you know, it is what it is. But with Eric, you're getting a lot of, like, he's a villain for all the right reasons, but essentially, like, you're not. What's the best way to put it? Like, you're not gonna get a redemption arc from him, I think, in the way that we want.
Yeah,
because he is too on the other side of that spectrum. Like most villains, you can see, like, in the right light, they can almost have like that hero quality. I don't think he has that. I honestly don't think he has it.
I think to your point, Law, I think he doesn't have it at this point. I think, you know what, to Pete's devil's advocate scenario, the fact that T'Chaka is there makes that potentially happen. He has someone there, someone whose family, someone that can kind of guide him. Even if he had T'Challa, if Chadwick was still alive and they wanted to bring Killmonger back, either because he wasn't killed or through the Fugazi of the multiverse, we want to bring him back. That's like a brother. He doesn't have that. I don't see him having that relationship with Shuri or his aunt. I don't. Just the way they play those characters up. So I think it would be a disservice to what Killmonger was, to what he brought to the MCU. Logically, I would have to say it's going to be Shuri. If I want to throw a wild card, just to throw another meatball into this pot, M'Baku, that would be maybe another one. Just because, like, not even a joke. Like because he grew as a character.
Right.
He grew a lot from a character than what we got in the
lot.
comics, actually.
I mean, yeah, of course, but he grew from what we saw in the beginning of Black Panther 1 to the end of Black Panther into Endgame, him and T'Challa seeing eye to eye as brothers in arms, brothers of Wakanda. So it would make sense if we wanted to go, if we, like, those are the only two people I can see them doing it. And with the potential of Namor showing up and us getting Atlantis, we need a Black Panther.
Yeah.
These are all good hot takes. I mean, I want to get people. Yeah, we know Doc. So we're at that hour. So I want you guys now again, because for those who are joining us, those who are listening, this is Pete and Matt. They put together an awesome comic called the Bardic Verses. If you love great art, like going from Kirby to Rob Liefeld, so just a love for comics, Pete really put his hands on that. If you love great writing, storytelling, all that, Matt put some love to it. These two got together. If you love D&D or you just love great stories, these guys put together a great story for you guys. The link for supporting the Kickstarter is there in the description. But this is the plug. I want you guys to plug away not just only the Bardic Verse, but all projects that you guys got coming up and everything. Let them know who you guys are. Go ahead.
We can find you. I'm gonna drop us all into the background so you guys can have the center.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, as we mentioned before, the Bardic Verses is a story about a bard trying to overcome the shadow of a long line of warrior. His father was a warrior, his grandfather was a warrior, etc. He's trying to deal with that, just being a musician, storyteller. The story is the adventures that he's gone on, and again trying to outrun that long legacy. For me, as far as where you could find me anywhere on the socials: MySpace, Friendster, Match.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. My handle is @MattManBegins, so it's my first name Matt instead of Bat. And that's it. Pete, what do you got?
I think this book has been an awesome experience. Making art under the homage of different artists, different types of stories. There's something in the background on every panel. Every scene tells its own story. The writing, the art, and even Matt Crotzer's magical fonts all come together in what I call a fantastic, delicious cake. Speaking of cake, it's this guy's birthday today, so happy birthday. And,
Thank you.
And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Maybe some other ones that I don't recall, but I think those are the three that matter. As PAC Illustration. There it is.
Thanks for that.
There we go.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And that was the plug. Listen, again, we you guys are always more than welcome. Come back, party with us, talk fun stuff and everything. Again, I congratulate you guys on the Kickstarter and all that, guys.
Thanks.
Again, if no one has put their has opened up, where's my wallet? Where is my wallet? We're gonna again support the Kickstarter, give these guys the love that they deserve. Again, there's 19 days left to back it. Help them get more stretch goals out there. The more the merrier. Again, great book. You want to add it to your comic collection. So this has been another great episode, Nerds Around. This has been your boy Sebastian.
It's your boy Law.
And your boy Tone from across the hall.
Now we're gonna hit you with that beautiful outro music. Let's go.